Tim Pool reportedly blocked the quartering on both Facebook and Twitter. Hey, this is Greg Coy from The Breakdown. If you're new here and checking out the channel on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at GregHoytLET. Anyway, let's get on to the video. So this Eliza Blue situation has taken more turns than a retired NASCAR driver. Most of my viewers probably don't need to be brought that much up to speed regarding the Eliza Blue situation. But to give you like the short and sweet version, we're dealing with Eliza Blue, aka Eliza Morthland, aka Eliza Seep, aka Eliza Cuts, aka Eliza Knows, who over the past couple of years has presented herself as a anti-human trafficking advocate, as well as being a purported survivor of human trafficking. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the elements of Eliza's story and the timeline of events that has been shifting and changing depending on who she's talking to on what podcast really doesn't line up. Which when you front yourself as sort of a spokesperson or an internet celebrity or you become online famous, and you have elements of your story or your background that doesn't make sense, people are going to ask questions. But again, there are folks out there who have covered the Eliza Blue shenanigans far better, far deeper. There's plenty of information out there, especially on Twitter and on YouTube, talking about all the controversies surrounding this woman. But we have a new controversy that actually pertains directly to two content creators, one of whom directly platformed Eliza twice in the past before the controversy blew up. That, of course, is the self-described disaffected liberal Tim Pool, who has since blocked the quartering on both Twitter and Facebook. Now, if this were just a Twitter blocking, perhaps that could be explained away because Tim Pool in the past week mentioned that he was going to start blocking accounts on Twitter who are trying to do that locked profile hack or whatever to get more engagement. However, this does seem rather intentional because not only was the quartering blocked on Twitter, he was also blocked on Facebook. Also, while the two were engaged in some back and forth conversations about scheduling an appearance for Jeremy to come onto the show. Now, what makes the whole situation so convoluted is people have been asking Tim Pool to discuss at length or even just acknowledge the controversies surrounding Eliza Blue. And he's kind of tiptoed around it. He's done his little bit of fence-sitting thing, but he's alluded that he doesn't want to touch the topic too much because it feels like internet drama to him. On the other hand, the quartering has been covering the Eliza scandal pretty damn well, and that's largely due to him getting adversely affected from her banning spree. Creators such as The Quartering and Manuel DeFango and Brittany Venti and Yellow Flash and a number of other people had their accounts on Twitter either locked or suspended over them attempting to report or refute or at least challenge the narrative that Eliza Blue has brought forth regarding her alleged sex trafficking past. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen that Eliza Knows World Star Hip Hop video, so it's probably pointless for me to show it or even allude to it or bring a screen cap of it or anything, because I'm pretty sure that's a quick way for this video to be memory hold from the internet. But to get back to the topic on hand, Tim Pool reportedly blocked the quartering. Again, on both Facebook and Twitter. And the quartering, he's not taking the matter lightly. Or maybe that's not the correct word to use. But the quartering is irritated, he's upset, he's clearly offended, because he was, again, engaged in back and forth conversations for there to be a scheduled appearance for him to appear on Timcast. And just like that, he's completely shut out of the conversation. Now, folks are speculating that the reason why Tim Pool did this is because he keeps getting asked questions by folks watching Timcast, whether it be in the comments section or on Twitter, or he's getting super chats asking questions about the Eliza Blue situation. Roughly about a week back, Tim Pool confirmed that he sent out Shane Cashman to do sort of like a one-on-one special little interview with Eliza Blue so that way we can get the true story, which many of folks raised eyebrows at the concept of Shane Cashman doing a one-on-one interview with Eliza, because during one of the past appearances on Timcast, Eliza and Shane were just complimenting each other back and forth and flirting with each other, and also alluded to this interview already being scheduled weeks before the Eliza Blue scandal transpired.
Eliza, grateful for your work and awesome to be here with you.
I love you so much, Shane.
Oh, thanks.
I'm like your biggest fan.
Thank you for supporting me so much online.
I love you so much. I think you have a creative mind. And I told Shane One time I said, I firmly believe that I had this feeling, oh my God, I said, I need to ask Shane to take my picture and write an article because I have a feeling his work will end up being Warhol-esque in a way where it's...
But thank you.
I'm serious.
Thank you.
I don't know how else to articulate it, but I think you're really gifted and very talented, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Right on. Yeah, we got something in the works.
Yeah, we're going to do a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be
You know
awesome.
what I think would be really cool? And I know you're trying to end the show, but I've had this vision a little bit of you coming out to the farm and really seeing what my day-to-day life is like.
That's the goal.
It's totally different than this glam version.
Yeah.
But there's also the aspect of interviewing Eliza at this point is just dealing with tainted goods. To get her side of the story would just be like interviewing Jussie Smollett to get his side of the story regarding his alleged attempt to get Subway sandwiches and getting ambushed by MAGAs. It would be silly, because Eliza's been telling her story over and over and over and over again through all these different podcast appearances, which is kind of how the controversy came to the top, because there were a myriad of inconsistencies between all these podcast appearances, and also the details she would provide about her experience as an alleged victim of sex trafficking were just extremely vague. Vague enough to the point where just about anybody could recite or make up a story like that, and it would seem just as plausible as Eliza Blue's iteration, because she doesn't really provide any evidence that this happened. There is so many inconsistencies with the timeline, as she so detailed them between these podcast appearances, and she also failed to mention the fact that she was a huge internet celebrity in the mid-2000s during the MySpace days.
Why don't you Google me, Eliza Cutt, and then we can talk about it then. Google me right now. Google me right now. Google me right now.
Particularly when she was dating Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, between 2006 and 2007, a period in which she should have been kind of in the throes of being sex trafficked. Nonetheless, this is just a bad look on Tim Pool, and the quartering appears to be not quite, but he seems on the precipice of going like kind of scorched earth with respect to his endeavors and interactions with people like Pool, and this is likely going to sully, his interactions with other content creators. Which, at the same time, I wouldn't blame him for that. I wouldn't blame him in the least. If you have that many sour interactions with folks or that many bad experiences, yeah, you're going to have trust issues with, other folks on YouTube, other folks on these social media platforms. If Tim Pool had a lick of sense, and if he didn't want to run the risk of losing a chunk of his audience, or at least getting pestered all the time on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and what have you, he would address the matter, he would address the Eliza Blue situation in the manner it should have been addressed in the first place. Not his typical fence-sitting stuff or anything like that. Tim Pool should just outright say, look at the evidence that's been compiled, take a look at the Daily Beast report that came out and pretty much confirmed and verified all the rhetoric that's being passed around on Twitter. He should take a look at that and be like, you want to know something? This Eliza character, she is kind of sketchy. There is something not quite right with what she's telling us. But he has failed to do that. He's failed at every turn and every opportunity to do that. Now, there's still time to salvage, what's left of his integrity and credibility with respect to this fiasco. Because again, he platformed her not once, but twice. So he kind of helped create the monster that folks are dealing with on Twitter and on YouTube. Yes, because it's not just folks on Twitter who are getting their accounts suspended. Eliza has also been handing out privacy complaints to YouTubers, folks like The Quartering, folks like that Star Wars girl, and a handful of others, which these content creators, all they're doing is they're playing in the sandbox of fair use of content. And Eliza is trying to manipulate her pull at these social media platforms, which I don't know how much pull she has at YouTube, probably none. She could probably file some frivolous complaints and give people a headache, but she definitely has pull at Twitter, as she so demonstrated. But either way, she's trying to contort and bastardize the terms of service on these platforms. And that's not even addressing the veiled legal threats that Eliza has tossed around. Legal threats that she really doesn't have any power to get into motion, because I don't exactly know what she would be suing people over who are criticizing her. She's a public figure. Folks are allowed to share their opinions on public figures. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Again, I can't stress this enough. I hope Tim Pool, just does the right thing, addresses this matter in the way it should be addressed, instead of just fueling the fire of drama. And the fact that he decided to block The Quartering over this, that's making him look worse, not better. Anyways, guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, @GregHoytLET. That was The Breakdown. Peace.